Hello, my name is Trish Van Osdell, and I am going to do a presentation over understanding exponential students. When you have a student that is visually impaired in your classroom, you typically have to have the classroom where it is open, not too cluttered, where you can walk around more and not bump into things. Tables need to be adjustable to a height like all the others, not have it too low or too high, and have the chairs about the same as all the other classrooms. That way it is easy for the visually impaired student to go from classroom to classroom. Don't change the classroom unless you notify them and let them know, otherwise they can bump into something. Their supplies need to be in reach, and if they are legally blind, have the books in Braille. When you have a wheelchair-bound student, have it to where it is wheelchair accessible, where it's open, where it's not too cluttered. That way they can get around the whole classroom in their wheelchair. It needs to have wheelchair accessibility to go in the building, handicapped doors where you just have to push the button and the button opens for them. Make sure if it is a 2-story building that the elevator is in working condition and that they are able to reach and acquire the supplies that they need. ADHD is attention deficit hyper disorder, and there are 3 main combinations of characteristics that you see in students that have ADHD. Some students have predominantly hyperactive impulsive type, where they're just jumping off the walls, it seems like. Some predominantly inactive type, and some students have a combined of both. Scientists do not know what the cause of ADHD truly is, but they do know that genetics does play a big role in people that have ADHD. Students that have ADHD, typically 3 out of 4 children actually have a relative with it. That's really big number to me. And when you encounter them and you have them in a classroom, because they typically don't like sitting still, they like to roam, they like to fidget, have an open classroom where they're able to walk around when it's like a brain break. Don't just do a lecture the whole hour, because you will lose their focus. They can cause other students to get off task due to they don't have enough time to move around, or get them a little fidget so they have something in their hands to fidget with so they're not disruptive in your classroom. And don't have it to where your classroom is set minute to minute, where there is no time to have a brain break or for them to walk around just for a few seconds in between parts of the lesson. When another kind of student that you may encounter is a student with autism. It's actually autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. They do have repetitive behaviors. They like to flap their hands, they jump, they rock, they twirl. They don't typically have very good eye contact. They can be extremely sensitive to like touch, textures. It could be touching, it could be eating, drinking. The littlest textures could set them off. Light, it could be either too bright or not bright enough, or the wrong color. And like the extreme sound, if it's super loud, like a fire alarm or tornado alarm going off, it could overstimulate them. People with autism, they tend or can have trouble adapting to changes in routine. If you have a student that isn't very verbal, they're like a visual schedule where they stick it on to what they need and take it off is very handy. That way they know what is coming up, or if they are able to talk and understand time, then just make sure you try to keep it in schedule and not just, oh, we're going to go do this, and not give the student a heads up. It might end up in a meltdown with that student. When you have an autism student in your classroom, it's really good to have routine or schedule, like sensory toys, like fidgets, the room not be loud and obnoxious with tons of people in and out and not have much structure. Have diverse setting. Don't just sit in a regular hard chair and a desk. Have like rolly chair, a yoga ball chair, a beanbag, those lounging chairs that kind of look like an egg, and have it open. Don't have a lot of things, tables, chairs, just randomly everywhere. Don't have a lot of stuff like on the walls with like posters and lots of words, because it can be overstimulating to a student that has autism. Students with emotional or behavioral behaviors, when you have them in their classroom, be very flexible in their schedule. Have an ear to open, like when they need to talk, let them talk. It could help them. It could help you understand where they're coming from, understand their behaviors. And if they are a behavioral student and they need a spot, just like a corner in your classroom, just have a comfy chair or small couch or beanbag or something, and have like little sensory toys or have books, fidgets, so they would have a little corner in your classroom that they can cool off, and then they can come and join the rest of your class when they are ready. You can encounter students that have language disorders according to STAP. I don't know how to say that correctly. Language disorders refer to a condition where a person has difficulties learning, using, and or understanding spoken or written language. There are 3 types. The receptive people with receptive language disorder have problems understanding and processing what others say to them, despite having no hearing problems. Expressive language disorders causes problems with using words to express thoughts, although the person has no physical problems in pronouncing words themselves. Mixed receptive expressive, these is a form of language disorder, having trouble with both expressing their thoughts and words and understanding what others say to them. Speech therapy can help them, and or have like a communication app like LAMP. This is my works cited. Thanks.